Hello, I am Professor Shiela Batacharya, and in January 2022, I am going to be co-teaching with Professor Sarah Seeley, and the course that we're going to teach is UTM190 Writing in Place. My background is in sociology, women and gender studies, adult education, and applied linguistics. And I am really excited about this course for its interdisciplinary nature and the shared passion that Dr. Seeley and I have for language and looking at language as community, as communication, and in terms of critical thinking and writing, of course. So I'm going to turn it over now to Professor Seeley.
Hi, it's nice to imagine the people that we're talking to today. We hope that some of the stuff we're about to say is going to give you some good information to maybe decide to enroll in Writing in Place. We think it's going to be a great seminar and we'd love to have you. So as Dr. Batacharya said, my name is Professor Sarah Seeley. I primarily teach writing here at UTM, but my background is actually in sociocultural and linguistic anthropology. So this is a very exciting opportunity to have the interdisciplinary nature of this course, to be able to focus on kind of not only writing, but a broader spectrum of communication as a social practice. And so this is kind of drawing on all my areas that I really, am interested in academically. So looking at writing, looking at language. So we're going to tell you a little bit about the course, give you more of a sense. So from individual bodies to communities and nations, we're thinking about life occurring kind of in place, so to speak. So this means we speak, we listen, we write, and we read from particular places. Of course, we're all humans who inhabit various places, including, the most intimate level, our bodies. And moving further from the self, we have our communities and our nation states. And so the Writing in Place seminar will give you the opportunity to figure out how these places impact the ways that you use language and the ways that you understand language. So this place-based awareness can be as seemingly basic as how your vocal tract enables you to produce the individual sounds that make up words and sentences. So for example, so I'm going to pretend everybody's here in the same room with us. If you place your fingers on your throat and make a sound like the F at the beginning of the word fox. So if we said, so if you keep your fingers still on your throat and you make another sound, the V sound, like the beginning of the word violin, V. So in both cases, your lower lip comes up to touch the bottom edge of your front teeth. So we have F and V. Right? So this means, and then when you do that, some air escapes, making kind of a hissing noise. Right? So in linguistic terms, the phonological classification for these sounds, they would both be classified as labiodental fricatives. So we have, labio, that's your lip, dental, and then the fricative, if we think etymologically about that, so meaning the origin of the word, it implies there's kind of some friction. So that's where that hissiness, so there's the air that's escaping that friction between your tooth and your lip, right? So even though we might just think of language as sound waves in the air, right, or letters on the page, language is absolutely an embodied tool, right? So from speaking and listening to using one's hands to translate sounds into letters as one types or writes, our bodies are mediating how we use language. So if we want to take another quick example that tends to be fun, if while you're watching along with this video, you want to say the word banana out loud. So even though English tells us that there are 3 A's in the word banana, our bodies likely tell us that there are 3 different vowel sounds in the word banana. So there can be some variability depending on how you say the word. There might only be 2 vowel sounds, but certainly each of those 3 A's is not the same thing. So if you watch my mouth when I say it, ba-na-na, right? My lips are making different degrees of roundedness, and my tongue is moving back and front in my mouth. Right? So each of those sounds, nonetheless, is presented by that same A symbol, but our bodies know a little bit differently. So that's the embodied side of looking at this. And I think it's also a little bit liberating because it shows us, no wonder pronunciation can be so hard sometimes. So this place-based awareness that I mentioned a moment ago can also be as complex as how writers have to account for things like, people will say, I have to understand where my audience is coming from, right, in order to construct an effective text. Right? So, we can also think about the fact that some writing is kind of located within the academy or school settings. Other writing is located in public spaces. So across all those varied contexts, writers must assess their audience's knowledge, their audience's attitudes and needs in order to communicate effectively. So this really is all boiling down to understanding kind of the places that a text might go, where it might be read from, and its potential to open up kind of new space for thought or for action. So students who enroll in the Writing in Place seminar are going to have opportunities to explore the various ways that we speak and write or listen and read from somewhere, so to speak. So this is really much more than metaphor. These are the kinds of inquiries that are going to position you to be an empowered, contemplative communicator, which is a subject that Dr. Batacharya is going to discuss here a bit more. So I'll turn it over.
So academic research and writing are collaborative, and students in this course will be encouraged to develop strategies that are contemplative and community building. So, for example, Professor Seeley's explanation about how we speak, listen, write, and read from specific places means that scholars are required to consider objectivity in terms of transparency, rather than the pursuit of knowledge as an object without an author. In this course, we will consider how to demonstrate objectivity in terms of answering the question, how do you know? Or put differently, who is involved and what are the contexts and processes for creating knowledge and communicating it? Understanding and explaining one's social location and history helps contextualize knowledge. Furthermore, paying attention to the blank spots, or what we don't know, is an important critical thinking strategy that can lead to greater understanding and relationships. For example, seeing a problem, an issue, or a solution from the perspective of one's own social location, as well as from another place, and that other place can be based on different lived experiences and or disciplinary training. This is a key goal in liberal education and an indispensable element of academic research. While academic research happens in a community of practice, it's about relationship building. This can be in the academy, in the university, or beyond. And we want to encourage students to explore the ways that creating knowledge requires dialogue. And it should involve reciprocal exchange. The activities and the assessments in Writing in Place will help students develop a critical perspective on knowledge and communication to advance their scholarly perspectives and communication skills across place. In this course, we will investigate how language is an embodied activity in terms of our material bodies, and how language is discursive and mediated through social relationships. Students will have opportunities to develop and demonstrate linguistic knowledge especially in written formats, as they engage with interdisciplinary scholarship, and students will learn how embodied practices such as Indigenous ceremonies, yoga, qigong, and other contemplative practices have fueled inspiration and insight for writers, teachers, activists, and researchers who are concerned with social equity, ecology, and decolonization. We are thrilled to offer this course, and we look forward to meeting the class in January 2022. In the meantime, please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or suggestions about the course.